Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fools Rush In. On the night, we celebrate 4 years of being on your screens and in your ears. Yes, somehow this band of misfits has managed to just get away with being cancelable and entertaining in equal measure to still be on the air 4 years later. Let's get the mushy stuff out of the way. Honestly, from everyone at FRI, thank you to anyone who has ever listened, ever watched, ever interacted. We do what we do because we love talking about Swindon, and we've all gained a good group of mates from doing it, but it really would not be what it is if it wasn't for all of you. So from all of us, thank you very much. We will be obviously previewing MK Dons, we will be reviewing Spurs, and there will be various nonsense along the way, including one or two things that may be slightly different to normal. So please do keep your eyes and ears peeled. As always, please do like and subscribe to all of our social channels, whether that's Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Threads. We still haven't got TikTok. I'm trying to hold off TikTok. I don't get it, but I'm sure one day Rich will take it on for me and say, yes, no worries, Fifey. We can have FRI TikTok. I've got a panel of pretty much all of your favourite fools waiting to come on. So let's start by rolling the titles.
Some say that only fools rush in, but that's not the case with the mighty Swin. Our podcast is a platform with differing views. We're mostly overweight, have beards and problems with booze. Swin and Town are currently playing shit, but we will still be here talking about it. Middle-aged men making random calls. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on a ball. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on our balls. There's Fifey, who's a legend, and Diz, our leader. Woody, the coach, is legit, and Joe is slick like a cheetah. Then there's a positive son of a gun who's also me and Matt. Craig and Mark, and one show will think Clem is just a fad. Rich got his light on, Arch has a heart on. Ladies love Nick cause he got a big age. Colin's a boxer, Kieran's a lobster. Ned is just Ned, and Warren is massive. And here's a random plot for Save on Tires. Save on Tires! We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. We don't like to judge shit
I absolutely love it. It gets better every single time I see it. I hope you enjoyed that too. As always, we have intro questions. I'm going to be putting questions out throughout the evening as well, not just the one. I think we've got something like 4 throughout the evening. As I say, please do get involved. I can see live chat is working pretty much everywhere. Joe saying, love the pick. Thank you, Joe. Although you may be slightly biased. And at Facebook user, we don't often get people who want to remain anonymous here, but good evening to Facebook user who obviously enjoyed the new intro video. Tonight, obviously, as I said, we are celebrating 4 years of Fools along with the usual STFC chat. So the first question I'm going to ask the guys, I've asked them recently about things they've enjoyed, who they'd still like to have on. So tonight, what I'd like to know from them and from you is something you haven't expected from Fools, or that's happened to or because of or with Fools in the last 4 years. For me, I'm surprised we're still going, I'll be honest. I was shocked we got started. I'm shocked that anyone chose to watch and listen, and I'm shocked that we're still here 4 years later. But more for my own self-deprecation, I suppose. I'm shocked that I've made such a good group of mates doing this. And I've got so many of them waiting in the lobby, including the man who I'm going to bring on first, because he is very much dressed for the occasion. Good evening, party show.
Good evening. All right.
How are you, pal?
I got my colours on tonight.
You do have the colours on tonight. I love it.
How are we?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. How are you? How's your week been?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Happy 4 years of Fools. 4
years of Fools. Who would have thought it?
Who really would have thought it? I'm sure many people didn't expect it to last. I'll ask you all as you come on tonight. Something that you are slightly shocked about in the last 4 years. It doesn't have to be Fools. It could be something in the world if you wanted to, but obviously it makes more sense to talk ourselves up a bit.
I'll go Fools, and I'll say I'm more shocked that I've made more appearances this year than I have in a long time.
Yeah, considering you disappeared for 4 months.
And I'm also shocked we haven't been cancelled.
Yeah, we're uncancelable at this stage. Although, if you might remember that we did get banned from Poland. We got an email to say that our streams would not be allowed to be played in Poland. Damn it!
Who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought?
I mean, who's watching us in Poland anyway?
Well, I don't know. Apparently, Facebook user is Sean. Evening, Sean. Hope you're well, pal. Barry is shocked about the professionalism.
When was that?
Yeah, I think he needs lack of. Well, I'm delighted you've been able to make it, mate, and look forward to hearing your views throughout the night. But I can't waste too much time saying hello as much as I'd like to, because it's a busy panel. People have turned up tonight, including the man who I can only applaud for the musical intro tonight. It was all his own work. Bravo, Ned.
Hello!
And a rare occurrence where I actually get to intro you at the start of an episode.
That's it. Oh, a lot of my visits got cancelled today, so I got the pleasure of being at home for the beginning. So, hello!
and happy 4 years as well to you, sir.
Indeed, happy 4 years.
What has shocked or surprised you in those 4 years, mate?
Quite recent. I think I was incredibly shocked when Garth made it on last week, because I felt that there was a lot of pressure for him not to go on from his better half, shall we say. Oh, but yeah, my one was going to be about Gary putting in more than one in 1 year, but but you've already covered that, Gary. So there we go.
Did it somewhat destroy the illusion when he was no longer one show?
I'll start calling him Gary. It's just weird. It feels wrong.
I'll always be known as one show.
Yeah, he'll always be one show to us. Well, if we've welcomed Ned on to thank him for the music, it's only right he's followed by the guy who put the pictures together. Another round of applause for Craig. Evening, Craig.
Yeah, evening, guys. Pleasure to be on another rare appearance from.
Yeah, you were making sure you were here tonight, weren't you?
Yeah, I did. I had to. I mean, it's not quite 4 years for me because I wasn't one of the so-called originals, apparently. So it doesn't apparently count. But
The them and us clicks in the WhatsApp chat.
Even amongst us fellow fools, we've got our own cliques. We have, so yeah. But what surprised me, with since we started doing this was just how well we got on together and how much we socialised, sort of not just in real life, but also for our famous WhatsApp group. If it weren't, to be honest, I haven't got much of a social life if it weren't for you guys. So I'd just be sitting at home. I'd just be sitting at home cry wanking, to be honest. So but yeah. No, it's just I'm sort of similar to you. I can't believe people watch us still. I told you guys the other day, like it's the first time it's happened to me in the nearly 4 years I've been doing it. But I got accosted in the street saying, "Oh, I like the podcast and everything. Keep up the good work." And I was like, "Does that really happen?" It's so surreal. But again, like you were saying, we all really appreciate that people watch it, and we're just glad people enjoy it. I'm amazed that people enjoy it, if I'm being perfectly honest. But no, it's been good, hasn't it? It's good for the old mental health, and by God, do we need to vent and everything supporting this bloody club of ours.
Yeah, I have to say, I was thinking about this. Someone asked me the other day because I was talking at work about the fact it was 4 years. And someone said, "Well, do you get a mix of things to talk about?" And I was thinking back. I said, "Well, actually, we've had a pretty shit 4 years since we've been doing this. It's been utter crap." We had a brief flirtation with it being good, but other than that, it's been utter nonsense.
Yeah. But if us, because we like to have a laugh and everything, and we do have our moments. If people get enjoyment out of that, then brilliant. We're just little more than, as we've always said. It's the thing we keep pushing all the time. It's just mates down the pub talking shit about football, and as Ned so eloquently put it in the music for the intro.
I need to find. We got two others the other day, which are very similar to the mates down the pub, which I thought were brilliant. I will find them during the course of the show and read them out in case you've missed them, because they really did make me laugh. But you mentioned the OGs there, Craig. So let's get one on. He's played silly buggers in the lobby, proving that one of the panelists is logged in and not in his seat. Let's get him on properly. Evening, Woody.
Good evening. How are we?
Very well, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. 4 years. Happy 4 years.
Happy 4 years. And what 4 years it's been, Woody?
It's my third longest relationship. Yes, what 4 years it's been. It made me laugh when you said that people are still watching us and we haven't been cancelled yet. I think when somebody sees that amazing intro, I think we might get cancelled.
It's been a great run, guys.
It's been a good old run. This is also our farewell show, viewers, as well.
So other than not being cancelled, what else has surprised you in the last 4 years?
To be fair, I wish you didn't bring me on fourth, really, or third, because there's obviously the lads have said pretty much most of it. I think genuinely, I don't think if it was for the guys within this podcast and this podcast itself, I probably would have lost interest in Swindon. Genuinely, I think I would have probably distanced myself a little bit, because it would have made me that angry that I just wouldn't want to talk to anybody about it, and I'd probably end up being in prison because I would have beat somebody up or something. So being so angry about Swindon, but no, but I think, like I said, the lads echoed it, and the fact that, we've grown, we've said bye to some, we've grown and all of that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's the fact that that's most of us have done at least 2 years. I think with the exception of Garv, possibly, and
Arch.
And Arch, yeah, but Arch is kind of always, even before he joined,
lingering in the background.
Although he is back at his seat now, so you'll be able to introduce him back on in a minute. But no, yeah, it's and what surprises me the most is, despite how much shit this podcast says that Swindon do, Swindon is still a fucking football club. I think if you went through all of the moans and groans that we've had over the 4 years and put this in a time capsule and come back to it in 40 years' time, they'd be like, oh, so they went a bit like Bury then and just didn't exist anymore. No, they're still going. They're still going. And at this point in time, they're fighting near the bottom of League Two. But it's probably the most ambitious we've ever been. Yeah, so that's my biggest surprise.
It's very, very true. At this point, one of the people I want to shout out is to a guy I started talking to on X called Andy, who sent a magnificent X message tweet. I'm still going to call it tweet. I can't think of what else it would be. Who, on our 4-year anniversary, said, "Congratulations! I stumbled on your podcast last year thinking it was a Russian Hepburn Murphy fan page. I've not missed one podcast since. Credit to you. Always look forward to watching with a great panel of guests." And then pointed out that Ben sits a couple of rows behind him in the Don Rogers stand. So assuming I was being trolled, I asked if it was genuine. And he said, "No, it's very true. I read the Russian bit, lol, and clicked on the link. But joking aside, I've spent hours going through old episodes catching up." So, so shout out to Andy for that one. Yeah, that is dedication. Next up, we said he was lurking in the background, but no longer. He's at his seat and he's on the show. Back from Mallorca. Evening, Arch.
Evening, all. How are you doing?
And he's still got his very loud microphone. Excellent news. How are you doing, pal?
Oh, so I've got a new laptop as well. I don't know what it is. I'll have to like sit in another room or something.
No, we can't ask you to do that because Joe wants you to sit in a different room from her doing this so she can have an evening off.
No, I'm seeing if I can turn it down. I don't know what it is.
How was your holiday, bud?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you. Yeah,
good. And you're in one of the should we say privileged positions where you were a listener and a viewer first and sort of one of the later additions to the permanent panel. So from what you've seen, what surprised you about FRI? Maybe the difference between being the viewer to the panelist.
Yeah, probably becoming a member, to be fair. quite surprised I was accepted, but there we go. So yeah, it's probably
we had some recruitment criteria to fill, Arch. That's why.
Fair show. But yeah, apart from that, probably I don't know, getting through to second round in 2 cups this year.
Yeah, what season we're having? It's going to be a great year. Great year. Ned was right all along.
Keeping about 90 clubs up, but we're through to the second round. Happy day.
And one more panelist to introduce tonight. I believe I might paraphrase slightly, but in his words, as we're celebrating, I might as well return. Evening, Rich.
How are you doing, guys? You okay?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate. Yourself?
It's been yeah, not too bad. It's been a few weeks. Thought I'd have a little bit of a detox, step away from the limelight a little bit. But might I say, just very quickly, what a fucking introduction that is, by the way. I will say, that's the first time I've actually seen that. And I'm surprised, Woody, I'm surprised you've not actually mentioned that to me at training or a match before.
Woody hasn't seen it.
Is that the first time tonight that it's been shown?
That's the first time we've played it. Nice to know you've been watching the episodes though, Rich.
No, it was...
Oh, it's done. Oh, it's so well. Anyone who's listening in for the first time, this is what it's like normally anyway. This is just pure carnage.
The last 4 years.
It was the way that you said it at the start, Fifey, that that I thought, oh, hang on a minute. Might not have been the first time that.
We saved it specifically for tonight's show for a debut play.
Okay.
I do remember hearing the soundtrack though and going,
you did.
If we put that on the intro, we're in trouble. Clearly,
so Woody, why the hell
my HR advice was useless to you guys.
Well, you let me know if anyone comes to our HR department about it, Woody. Okay.
That was bloody immense. That was so freaking good.
Something that shocked you in the last 4 years, Rich?
So I personally, I think the way that we've built our fan base organically, through social media and all that kind of stuff. And I agree with the lads. Like, obviously, there's been times that people have approached me saying, like, you're that guy from that podcast, aren't you? It's like, I was like, yeah. Loathe Strangers. No. Not that one.
And Rich is like, no, I haven't had the call up to that one yet, so I'm stuck in the lower leagues.
I'm not Ben Nichols. I don't get the mention.
Speaking of Ben Nichols, and we have had a bit of a laugh about this, but we said that some things will be different given it's the anniversary show. You'll notice Ben isn't here. Mr. I've made 71 appearances in 2024 decided not to appear on the anniversary episode. So Woody has suggested he gets 20 appearances knocked off his season total for that. I'll leave it up to you lot to decide whether that happens.
I'm surprised not another pod.
Well, he did do another pod on Wednesday.
We know of.
He did do another pod on Wednesday. We know that.
We did. And yet he still missed as well.
Yeah. Well,
that was hilarious, by the way, because obviously, as you guys know, I had to drop out pretty late on that. And literally, it cracked me up. I was in the hospital, and it cracked me up because the guy's reply went, "Oh, don't worry, we've definitely got Ben." It was just like it could. I just like only Ben would get that response. Like it would be like, "Oh, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. It was always next time." No, don't worry. We definitely got Ben.
Yeah.
We will. Kieran.
No, we didn't even send Kieran because he was busy with Woody in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
What's his friend?
Hospital friends. Jesus
Let's be
Christ.
fair. This is prime family time.
It is. And it's prime Paddington time as well, which is what I believe he's gone to see at the cinema. So I hope he's enjoying Paddington in Peru. Before we start talking about tomorrow and reviewing midweek, another one of our favourites couldn't make it tonight, but he has sent in a little message. So I hope you guys sit back and enjoy this little public address.
Evening, fools. Sorry I can't make number 4 birthday show, so I've prepared something, so let's go. Hello, Fifey, my good friend. We're the Fools, yet again, talking football twice a week, not for the mild or the meek. We discuss all things STFC. Always have plenty to say, you see. Never the sound of silence. On a podcast, we are a mixed bunch. It's Woody, Rich, Mark and Arch, Garth, Craig, Ben, Kieran and Joe, Ned, Warren, plus me, and one show. We get new fans every show. It blows their minds how the numbers grow. Never the sound of silence. We have guests that join us some weeks from opposition teams far and wide. Their views are welcome and add to the show. Comments from listeners are for free. Always welcome as they add to the flow. Never the sound of silence. We love our team, one and all. At the grounds we stand tall. Watch our players give their best. Wear with pride our club's crest. Never the sound of silence. We follow our team home and away. Twice a week we have our say. We can talk for 2 hours or more. Talk a lot of nonsense, that's for sure. Our views are our own, you see. That's why we don't always agree. Never the sound of silence. At our grounds we saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. Singing songs that voices shared. And be sure no one dared disturb the sound of Fools Rush In podcasts. Cheers, guys. Have a great night. Be with you soon.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
Do you know what? Do you know what I mean? Probably one of the greatest additions to Fools Rush In as well. That Nick, absolutely fantastic. Because he came in, I think, was it our second year?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, what a fantastic.
I have to say,
Right,
so first and foremost.
All right, Rich, he's not going to.
No. Right.
First and foremost, thank you very much, Nick. That's very much appreciated because I know that you've not been 100%, and that's why you're not here tonight. So I appreciate that. But more so, boys, I'm disappointed that you weren't on the same wavelength as me. He said about 4 times in that, never the sound of silence. I just assumed we were all just going to sit there and not say anything for about 60 seconds just to prove him wrong.
Who would have thought it? Nick, a poet. Not only is he a ladies' man, he's a poet. I bet he's got the ladies frothing at
But they go hand in hand. But Craig, they go hand in hand though, don't they not?
Yeah.
I really do need to take some tips off that boy at some point. Let's start by looking back on what was a second win on the trot. 2 cup wins in a week. Unbelievable scenes at Swindon Town. Woody, do you want to kick things off for us?
Yeah, I went.
You did?
Certainly. Yeah, it was. You know, I think what I'm quite liking at the moment, even if you look across both games, but it was kind of almost a mirror of a never die attitude, really, from the team, and I guess from obviously from Holloway. But there's the one major difference, I think, and they mentioned it on Loathe Strangers, is we were, because I was sat along the same road as Arch and that, and you could see the coaches, even though that some of them are the old coaches, you know, they genuinely looked like they were enjoying what they were doing. And I don't mean necessarily the antics of dancing and stuff like that Holloway was doing. But what I mean is just kind of like there was a very kind of positive, and I know it's easy to be positive when you were winning, but the thing is they were still quite positive when we were 1-0 down, you know, and you kind of could sense that they were you could kind of sense that they kind of knew that there was still a good chance that they were going to win this game. And I mean, I put in the chat to say, if we stop Spurs from scoring, we'll win this, scoring again, we'll win this game. And lo and behold, we did. But
Mystic Wood.
Obviously. But yeah, it was, and what was quite nice, and Holloway summed it up really well in his interview post-match, that team was kind of just put together. He's had no time to work with that team, really.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have risked working with them on the Monday, because obviously he will have his eyes on tomorrow's game. And I think there's a couple in that team, especially who will be planting seeds. He'll say that he kind of said no, they haven't, but they will be. You know, there'll be a couple of players in there that, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of freedom in the players now. We're changing things when they're not going right. You know, but it's too early to say whether that's going to change the fortunes of our season, obviously. But it's nice and refreshing to see that he's looking at it and he's going, this isn't working, I'm going to change it, like he did. And he did that against, you know, he did that against Gillingham as well, even though he wasn't even manager then. And then he did it against Colchester and he's done it against Spurs on Tuesday. And then naturally, the same Spurs side must have played against Galatasaray last night because they were fucking shite. But it's, yeah, so it was good to see. It was good to see. I've always kind of applauded Jake K as a good squad player, and I think he showed why. You know, I thought he was particularly impressive on Tuesday. You know, there was people saying, why didn't he put like an enforcer kind of off-the-ball type in the middle? One, because we don't really have many of them, but really, do you need to against a team like Tottenham? You don't, because they don't play that physical football. So we can afford to put Cottrell, Butterworth, and the other one that I've already said, Jake Kane. So yeah, and I think, to be fair, it was, you know, relatively decent performances all round. You know, it wasn't pretty, but there were some really enjoyable moments. I'm sure Arch will say as well. There were a couple of cheeky little back flicks and kind of inside steps and stuff like that they'd never, and I can guarantee you, and I'm not just saying this because I like Holloway, but we wouldn't have seen this under Kennedy. There was no way there was that level of freedom under Kennedy. And like I say, anybody for me who can kind of unlock Sean McGurk again, you know, because I still stand by it. He was ruined by Kennedy and Gunning, by him not playing and stuff like that. But I thought he was fantastic on Tuesday. So yeah, but yeah, it was good to see. It was good to see, and another win. Momentum's everything at the moment. Even no matter what competition, we need the momentum.
Well, let's ask Arch. Mate, did it feel for you coming back into it for that game almost a bit like Holloway is kind of trying to get the Swindon players to play a style as opposed to Kennedy kind of just trying to stop the opposition playing their style?
Yeah, I think so. There definitely seems, I think, like Woody said, there's definitely a bit more positive in the air. There's a better feel around the ground. The Arkle's stand was pretty full, if I recall. There weren't many empty seats or anything, which I think is probably the fullest I've seen it for a cup game for a long time. And yeah, I thought that, in fairness, they moved the ball well at times. It was kind of two-touch football a lot of the time, and the way they were passing with intent rather than tapping it. And but there was also some really good switches of play, some really good passes, long balls, and things as well. Yeah, I agree. McGurk, I thought, played really, really well, but I even thought Drinan played well. And that ball he won down on the far line that he got in for I think it was the second goal, was it? I don't see him getting that 3-4 weeks ago. And again, McGregor, I thought, was superb when he came on. He's just a little fucking workhorse, to be fair. He just wouldn't give up. It's like a Jack Russell or something. But no, it's definitely got a better feel about it. And I think, Holloway's definitely trying to get the fans back on board again. And I think he's doing quite well, because there's a few people I know that weren't planning to come back that have basically said, if we win Saturday, I'll be at the next home game.
Okay. Well, there's two things there to touch on. Rich, let me come to you on something that Woody said. Momentum is everything. So going into, and obviously in a little while, we're going to actually look at tomorrow's game, but you can't argue with the fact that, okay, he wasn't technically involved the first game we saw him, but the team showed character, got the point. Since he's been in the dugout, 2 consecutive wins, on the pitch, regardless of anything else going on, can't say it's not at least positive signs and green shoots of recovery.
No, absolutely not. And I think in terms of the way that we start a game, it's not the way that you start a game, it's the way you finish. And out of those 2 games, we've managed to get a result. Obviously, took it to extra time in the FA Cup, and then obviously we bounced back in the second half of the EFL Trophy. And, I think as well, I think it says a lot as well at halftime as well. That's one thing that you've got to take into consideration as well, what he's saying at halftime as well. I mean, you can say all you want on the sidelines as well, but that's not going to every single player. That's going to maybe 1 or 2 players to say, oh, change it up a bit or to do something different. But when you've got all the players in at once at half time, if something's not going quite right in the first half and you've actually identified what the sort of ways you can actually expose the opponent, you can actually say that and explain that at half time and explain how you want that to be exposed, and Holloway's experienced enough as well to be able to sort of be able to identify that. He's been in the game such a long time. He's coached at the highest level, and you can sort of start to see that as well in the 2 games that we've had as well, and that's how we've managed to get results out of it. And I think for him as well, and I think for the players too, it is something different, and it is some experienced head that's come in. Whereas when we had Kennedy, although I know he was only in charge for 2.5 months or so, but I can't really judge Kennedy still. I can only judge him from what he's done at Swindon, and
we know Rich can't read and talk.
Yeah, I can
4 years, mate. 4 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm talking about. No, yeah, I can only judge what Kennedy's done, obviously, at Swindon. I can't really judge what he's done anywhere else. And I think from the perspective that he's had at Swindon, he didn't really have a plan B. So I think for us to have an experienced head, something's obviously going on, guys. No, to have an experienced head in the dugout as well, and to be able to change games as well. I think Ian Holloway's just been a breath of fresh air. I'm not saying that he's our Lord and Savior yet. I think
Well, no, it'd be foolish to do that after just 2 games.
yeah, like I say, we'll see what happens in the league games coming up as well. We've got, I think, 3 league games before our next cup game, so it'll be good to see, and I think we'll have to wait and see on that. But early signs are good, but I think we need to hopefully hold out and see what else he can conjure up, because I don't think what he has done so far is even a little. It hasn't even scratched the surface. I think he can get even more out of this team as well. So I'm sort of excited to see it, but I'm also a little still very skeptical.
Well, Craig, let me bring you in on something that Rich said there, because we said many times that there were questions about at half-time what Kennedy was saying, because the second half seemed to be completely different. So now we have a flip reverse, that in these 2 games, as Rich was describing there, Holloway's had the chance to talk to players, tinker with things, and it's looked better. And surely that comes with that experience of being in the Football League and kind of knowing his way around a match day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's got a lot of games under his belt. I mean, we saw that, even before he was actually in the dugout, he was passing directions down to try and affect the game and everything, even before he'd been officially made, before his first actual game. But obviously he is having an effect. We're getting, things obviously changed in the second half against Colchester. I didn't see the game in the Tin Pot Trophy, but yeah, it's looking positive at the moment. I mean, for me, everyone knows my views, my opinions of the Tin Pot Trophy, but I still want us to do well in it, because I want Swindon to win and I want Swindon to do well. So, for him to change it like that, but for me, I'm still going to reserve judgment a little bit, and I'm sorry, it might be a bit cynical, a bit negative, compared to how everyone else is feeling, because Holloway's given that Holloway's given that feel-good factor amongst fans.
You have to, Greg.
Which is great.
You have to.
Which is great. Don't get me wrong, and you can't help but feel swept up by that, because he's just that engaging character to do that. And as I said to you guys in the WhatsApp chat when he was appointed, it was a stroke of genius by Clem, and I'm not Clem's biggest fan, obviously, to appoint him, because he could help galvanise the fan base and maybe turn things around. But it's what matters in the league. If he can stop us from being involved in a relegation battle, then brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That'll be good for me. But I'm kind of reserving judgment. I want to see how the next couple of league games go. And if we get results, particularly back-to-back wins, because we haven't obviously had that this season. I can't remember the last time we had back-to-back wins, to be honest. It might. I don't know if we had any under Gav Gunning for his tenure towards the end of last season, but I think that's key. We start getting some results. I struggle
to remember us getting 2 wins under Gav Gunning. Never mind back.
Wow, yeah, true, maybe. But yeah. If I think as well, could we have got anyone better than Holloway, before we come in? Probably not. I think it was great timing, right place at the right time for us.
Literally 24 hours.
And for him, yeah, exactly. So his experience speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know that, but can he do it at League Two? He admitted himself he doesn't know the players at League Two, because that was his excuse for not doing well at Grimsby. So, but I'm feeling positive about it. I want a good FA Cup run, and I was jumping for joy when we beat Colchester and everything, and especially when McGregor got that goal towards the end, because it looked like, even though they scored against the run of play, I mean, I was listening to it on the radio, so I wasn't watching it, but I was like, it's just going to be the Swindon thing. We're going to fucking lose this, even though we seem to have dominated the second half. And I want a proper FA Cup run. I don't mean like get through to the third round, get a Premiership team and get knocked out. I want us to get through to like the last 16 or quarterfinals or something like that. I don't think we've had a proper cup run apart from the Tin Pot Trophy since Steve McMahon when we got through to the semi-finals of the League Cup. You know, I want something like that. And if Holloway can do that, then fucking brilliant. You know, and I'm all behind him if he can do that, because that can also help change a season. You could argue, can a cup run distract you from the league and everything? But it can also have the opposite effect. It can, you know, because we're slipping down there. If we can get a good cup run and that boosts the morale of the team and gets the fans back on side, gets the crowds up, because you see, I was surprised to see less than 5,000 in the ground, and it's worrying from a financial point of view that we had less than 5,000 on a Saturday for an FA Cup game. So it is important. I want him to turn things around, not just in the league. Obviously, the league's the priority for me, but also in the cup. If we can get a good cup run, that'd be amazing.
Ned, picking up on something that Arch said a few minutes ago, and it has been mentioned elsewhere as well. These 2 wins plus the Holloway factor, do you think it's, although tentative and early signs, galvanizing the fan base a little bit and kind of wanting to get a few more bodies back at the county ground for the next home game?
I definitely do, and I think one bit of evidence is look at our WhatsApp group chat of recent times. We're talking about the Tin Pot Trophy that none of us would have been interested going to. All of a sudden, after
except Woody.
Okay. Not all of us, granted, but I mean, like after the FA Cup win, everyone's all of a sudden going, I think I might go to that game. It's just like that wouldn't have been a consideration before. So I think if our mindsets are changing, quote Clem, then I think that's going to be happening to quite a few other fans as well. So I remember saying ages ago about a manager coming in and having that tactical nous because League Two, anyone can beat anyone, and from the evidence of the last 3 games, including that league game, it shows that he can read the game, and the way that he's training the players is thinking about what's going to be happening next, not just what's happening in the moment. So, for me, that's absolute music to my ears. And
sorry, carry on. I'm just testing.
Okay. Okay. I just think it's the best possible appointment. He's doing everything that me personally has wanted to happen. Someone come in with a bit of charisma, someone come in who's got it in his mind of how to win a game, through changes to the formation and substitutions. I just think, it's an exciting time. Obviously new manager bounce and all that sort of stuff, of course, but I'm just excited to get on the bandwagon and just see where it takes us. I'm just excited to I feel like other people are joining in as well. We'll have a look at the attendance at the next home game, see what happens. But I'm pretty sure MK is not too far away, so we probably would have taken quite a lot there anyway. But I think we'll see an increase in the next home game. Certainly, if we beat MK Dons as well, I think that would sort of nail on an increase, in my opinion. But yeah, he's box office, and he's absolute box office.
Well, speaking of, go on, Woody. Sorry,
I was going to say, just whilst it's on my mind as well, there's a lot of focus like where Holloway had this gap from the game, and I always say that kind of football, even from a coaching grassroots level, the fashion in football changes kind of every 3 to 5 years, even no matter what level you're playing at. You'll see that in our league now, we've got quite a lot of that head coach model, that kind of different way of approach. So actually Holloway being away from the game for 4 years and the game changing, him coming in and doing the things that he's doing is a new way. It's an old way, but it's a new way to especially to some of the players we've got who never would have had an old school manager.
Yeah.
So I think that's always my argument when I was speaking to somebody at work today, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, but he's been out of the game for 4 years. Is he going to be able to keep it up?" I said, "Well, there's 2 elements there. One, it's a new way of approaching this league now, And the other is he wouldn't have just been sat at home doing nothing for 4 years. You know, he's been doing punditry. He's been doing. Who would have been a pure student of the game over the last 4 years? And I think, and this is why the opportunity probably means just as much to him as it does to anybody else. To anybody else, because this is his last hurrah. Potentially, it's his last opportunity to.
Yeah,
really,
he wouldn't want it to go out on the way it happened at Grimsby.
Yeah, exactly, and really good opportunity to put his legacy. And like, I know he's a bit old school, but he's still saying some snippets that I don't tend to hear, you know, from other managers, even the older school managers, you know, kind of. I mean, he still talks about principles of play, which is actually technically a new terminology in football. You know, and it's kind of, but he still talks about that. He won't go into them for obvious reasons, but then he'll, you know, we know it's about the press in football and all of this kind of stuff. I feel that we've got the Holloway that was trying to manage that Blackpool side. And I think that's what he's going to try and do, because just the way that the game has transitioned over time. And obviously, I just love the fact he dances when we score. I wish I had the courage to do that. But I'm normally too busy getting rich off my back.
I was going to say, I do that for you, Woody.
Gary, I know we were talking, or we'd started talking about Spurs, but it's become more of a Holloway chat. So on that train of thought, Kieran's asked here, shall we do a Fool's Comp? Who can get the best time doing the Holloway run? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it might be some heart attacks in our team, in the Holloway. Jesus.
I could possibly do 20 yards, 40 at the push. When it starts getting to 60, 80, and 100, I'm struggling.
I'd have to stop at a pub every sort of 100 yards.
I was going to say, it's got to be a pub crawl. That's the only way Gary does it. Yeah.
So final word then from you, Gary, on what I suppose some of we've heard from some of the guys, the individual performances plus the result at Spurs, what that could mean for the squad as a whole, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's got to be a confidence boost. It's got to be a morale lift. The players seem to be running more. They seem to be having more energy, a bit more, like what he said, freedom in the game. I mean, that team that he picked on Tuesday night against Spurs, that weren't a bad side in terms of there was some youth, there was a couple of fringe, there was a couple of first team players. He kind of picked the best team. We've seen those games before where it's been all the youth are thrown in and they get hammered. And, you know, I thought that was a really, really good team to put out. But I think the one thing I've noticed from the games since Holloway's come in is there seems to be an aspect of tactics in the game. There's actually some formation. We're not just trying to stifle them and trying to hold out for a 1-0 win or stop the opposition scoring, but we're actually trying to impact the game and trying to change it so it works for us, not for the opposition team. And I think that's a new Holloway thing. And I think he's going to get us playing with some essence of tactics and know-how rather than just going out there and trying to stop the attack.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, as promised, I have a kind of intro-style question for between each topic. So before we talk about tomorrow, where the 4-year party continues with a number of fools all headed towards Stadium MK, let's do one of our infamous questions. And what I'd like to know from you at this juncture, gents, is if you could only have one dessert for the rest of your life, what would you pick? As you can see there, I've gone for apple pie and custard, which caused some debate in the family WhatsApp chat earlier because my brother said the same, my mum said the same, and then my sister said chocolate fudge cake, to which I instantly replied, no mention of custard, #adopted. And then Scott decided to also have words. So I'll go in the order you appear on my screen. So Woody, one dessert for the rest of your life. What are you choosing?
Apple crumble and custard.
Yeah, good lad. You're part of the family. Good lad. Gary?
Sticky toffee pudding and ice cream.
Oh, ice cream's a shout there. Okay. Ned?
My mum, God rest her soul, used to make a lemon meringue pie, and my brother has started making it. And
is it anywhere near as good?
It's I don't think it will, no one will ever come close to what my mum put on the plate. However, his one is sublime. My wife has now started making it. She's not quite up to the standards just yet, which, thankfully, she's not watching this. But yeah, it's perfect, wife, perfect. No, it's not. Yeah. So this it's obviously the meringue. You've got the lemon filling, and then you've got a biscuit base at the bottom, and it's beautiful. I'll have that happily twice a day for the rest of my life. Happily.
Just catching up on what's been going on in the chat. Knighton said apple pie and ice cream. Sean, I'm not sure why Sean's coming up as Facebook. I've tested Facebook and it is working. But he said apple crumble and custard all the way. Pete said creme brulee, no custard. Rich, what are you going for?
See, this is really, really difficult for me because I'm such a dessert guy.
Well, you can afford all the desserts, can't you, man?
Well, you wouldn't be surprised with the one that I was going to say. No,
Millionaire's cheesecake.
No, it's going to be different than that. But no, lemon meringue pie was one of them. Treacle tart was up there too. But I'm going to go with this one. I'm
going to go with this one.
Mississippi mud pie.
Okay. Nice. Arch?
Apple, crumble and custard or creme brulee.
No, you can only have one.
Fucking hell.
That's the whole point in the question.
Apple and crumble custard with a creme brulee surrounding.
Yeah.
There you go. Creative, Woody.
This is like Sophie's choice for Arch, isn't it?
No, what he's doing is he's buying for time. You can see him frantically going through his memory bank. What has Joe made?
In fairness, out of the two, I'll probably go crumble because I don't know anyone that can make creme brulee.
Okay, nice. And Craig, one dessert for the rest of your life?
Just your bog standard cheesecake with pouring cream for me.
What cheesecake though? Because I wasn't letting people get away with. Oh, you get so many different types of cheesecake. No, pick one.
Like the normal cheesecake,
just like the plain.
Plain
vanilla cheesecake.
Vanilla cheesecake.
Vanilla. Vanilla cheesecake. I would have that. Yeah, you know, you get like the whole cheesecakes. You know, like you can get from the supermarket. I'll eat.
I'm eating one of them to myself. No problem.
Yeah, no problem at all.
One sitting as well.
Yeah,
that's not making its way to the fridge.
Yeah.
And this is why none of us would do the Holloway run.
And this is why I look the way I do.
I'm waiting for the next question, which is, what is the next dessert that you
I mentioned.
I've really got a sweet tooth, which you wouldn't think to look at me, but I haven't.
You're sweet enough as it is, Arch.
Oh,
I mentioned Andy earlier, and here he is. And he's gone with butterscotch instant whip. Now, I have to say, butterscotch Angel Delight is unbelievable if done correctly. Oh,
he doesn't have cool whip.
Cool.
Barry.
Barry's offered to teach you how to make a creme brulee.
Cheers, mate.
Look at that. Nice.
It's got to have that proper caramelised top, though. And be set. None of this fucking runny shit.
Considering he's offered to show you how to make it, you're making a lot of demands there.
Isn't there two different puddings though? The creme brulee is the set one, and then the creme custard is the one with the it's runny, and then it's got the caramelized top.
Yeah,
on.
some people still call it creme brulee, don't they?
Because
it's creme
wait,
brulee.
are you talking about the horrible creme caramel thing that comes in the little yogurt?
Yeah.
Oh no, they're lovely. Them.
No, rancid.
No.
That's my second favourite.
Oh no,
I love them. Yeah, they're lush.
No.
I've got some in the fridge. I'll get some out in a minute.
Right. By the way, if I could just go off on a little tangent here. Whenever we go away on holiday, we always go to a all-inclusive buffet. Now, I love creme caramel, so I'll always attack what looks like a creme caramel, but I hate egg. You can guarantee every single time I've gone to try it, it's always been this fucking horrible egg custard dessert. But yeah, without fail, without fail. But yeah, creme caramel is definitely my number two. It's when done properly, is incredible.
Well, now that food chat is finished, at least for the moment, let's move on to tomorrow. And a game I'm sure we're all looking forward to, MK away. Where should we start? Ned, let's start with you. After we've just spoken about the two cup games, so
Two good wins.
are we considering a change of approach for a league game, or what we've seen is what we're going to get now? Do you think?
Well, didn't Holloway in his latest interview say what he was going to do? He said that MK were going to attack in a specific way. They're possession based. They're going to attack in a specific way, and he was going to counter it. So it's going to be different again because it's very different to what Tottenham offered. Mm-hmm. Tottenham's wing backs would come inside, wouldn't they? Whereas they're going to go along the wings. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be pretty much different all the time. I don't think it's going to be in the Kennedy mold of, this is how we're going to play. I think it's going to be, pretty much different every time. And Holloway is always one step ahead. He knows how they're going to play, and he's going to, rework us to get the best out of that game. So it's for me, it's going to be different every time. And also, we're going to see who he thinks should be in the first 11. So yeah, that's going to be different. We're not, none of us know yet because he hasn't had a league game. So it's going to be interesting to see what team he puts out. I was looking, as you are fully aware from the WhatsApp group, I was looking on the stats beforehand, and the one thing that
pull out the big George McEachran one.
Oh no, well no, I wasn't going to say anything about that, but I mean, you can say it if you want, Fifey. Okay, I'll say it then. So McEachran is by far and away he's got the most clean tackles won in the division, which I find absolutely staggering. I said on the group chat, my mind's blown because I don't even remember him making a tackle. But but Woody and others have, Kieran as well, said about his famous hook tackle. That famous hook tackle. But yeah, he's by far and away in League Two the person who makes those tackles the most, which I just didn't see that in him. But the statistic that I saw, MK Don's the top, and we're at the bottom for the amount of shots on target per game, which it really does make me shit myself for this game. I've got to be honest. I mean, they don't typically their percentage for conversions from shots on target to goals isn't very good, whereas ours, we're kind of mid-table. So, shots on target mean nothing, but at least we know that we're going to be, they're going to be peppering those shots at our keeper, which is why I'm nervous. I'm sorry for the but the Swindon, for the goalkeeper lovers out there, I'm pretty goddamn nervous for that in that respect.
Fifey, can I just quickly touch on Peter's point there? I'd love to see McGregor start and play against Tomlinson and absolutely tear him a new one, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he certainly won't have it all his own way in that instance, I don't believe.
He's got to start. He's come on last two games, he's been absolutely brilliant. And obviously even before that, he's been absolutely class. So, but obviously we'll touch on that in a bit. But
Craig, Ned said there about how this will be the first time we really see who Holloway thinks deserves to be in the starting 11 with it being a league game. But also we could throw into that, I know we joked earlier, but we're going to see potentially a fitter, or we should start to see a fitter look in Swindon, because he's talked about how they have to be hitting certain physical levels to be playing for his team.
Yeah, I don't know how much fitter they can be in the 2 weeks or so that he's been here, but it's it's good to see that he wants to do that and bring the fitness levels up. I don't know, it's not my area of expertise, but I'm sure Woody would correct me. But isn't it a bit late to sort of be trying to raise the fitness levels of the team? That's what pre-season is for, isn't it? Really. But obviously, it's not his fault. Holloway's fault because he's come in now. But yeah, if that's what it takes to get the style of football that he wants to play and put his imprint on the team and get us to turn around and win the games, then yeah, fucking, brilliant. It'll be interesting to see. It's going to be tough, isn't it? Because MK Dons are on a good run in the league. Obviously, we're hoping that maybe they might still be a bit hanging from losing to their arch rivals in the FA Cup, who also beat them in the league early on this season. So we got to be hoping for a bit of a hangover from them there. But we know that was it Ned saying that he hopes McGregor tears Tomlinson a new one? Well, he's been on really good form for them this season. I think he's got 3 assists and 2 goals for the Dons. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup. To be honest, to see who wins that. That might even be key to how it all goes tomorrow. They've only lost once in their last 8 games as well. So it's going, and they've won their last three on the bounce. So in the league, of course. So yeah, it's going to be tough, and looking forward to see what the first 11 will be from Holloway. But I can't imagine that the fitness levels are all of a sudden going to be so high, higher than what they were, say, 1 or 2 weeks ago. So, but I'll be very interested to see what first 11 he puts out. I'd like to see Offerball start. I said this before to you guys in the group chat. He's just so key, and I wasn't keen on him last season because he was another scraping of the barrel signing, someone who was available because he hasn't played for ages. But you can tell that when he plays for us, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He celebrates every goal. He gets around. He G's up the younger players. He encourages them. He is captain material for me, to be honest. I think I haven't watched the last few games, so I don't know how Clark has played, but I haven't really been impressed with him this season. But I really hope that Offerball starts, because I think he could be key to turning our season around. I really do. But it'd be interesting to see how we get on. It's going to be a tough match. Every game is going to be a tough match for us from now until the end of the season, and we need as I said earlier, we need to start picking up wins in the league. So yeah.
Woody, the guys have picked out the potential McGregor v Tomlinson as a key battle, but what about Holloway v Lindsay?
Well, yeah, I mean, Lindsay's had his fair share of tactically doing opposition. I think Lindsay's done a good job, to be fair, hasn't he? You can't deny it. He took over MK and they were one place above us, I think, at the time. And he's obviously risen them through. They've got a good squad. That does help. I think they signed sensibly. I don't think they've quite, and this is going to sound weird given our position in the league, I don't think they've quite got the depth that we have, but they do have a good squad. In terms of their first 16 is a really good 16. And then, it would be a bit like when Lindsay was here. If any of those first 16 get injured, he hasn't really got a 17th and 18th to call on, so to speak. I think it's a chance for Holloway to shine in terms of tactically, isn't it? Because he said he goes on quite a lot in his interviews about, like I say, the principles I mentioned earlier. But he says the principles won't change. The tactics will, but the principles won't change. And I think this is where, because Lindsay's still technically, although he seems a bit older on his shoulders, he is still that kind of head coach type role. Whereas Holloway is that manager role. He is gonna focus heavily on what the opposition are doing. He is gonna focus on where the exploitation of the weaknesses is. He'll delegate his duties better than what coaches have done in the past. I think, so. But yeah, it is ultimately. Obviously, Lindsay will always want to, as much as he loves Swindon, so supposedly, he's now at the biggest club in the world. So he's got to take his grasp. But yeah, I think Lindsay the one thing that I didn't necessarily like about him when he was with us was he couldn't seem to adapt to us in a losing position. That was probably his biggest weakness for me. If we were losing, we would probably lose the game. So I don't know if he's got any better at that. Obviously, he's had a good, year and a half since he's been with us. But that's something that Holloway has already proven he's got. So it'll be interesting if we can get that first goal tomorrow. It'll be very interesting because I don't think Holloway will sit on a 1-0 either. So it'll be very interesting to see what Lindsay does in that situation when you've got all 12 MK Dons fans on his back, and then you've got 1,000 Swindon away fans. Then it'll be quite interesting to see. But it'll be good. It'll be good, and I think they haven't. I don't think they've come up against each other because I think they've always missed each other, haven't they? So, and obviously Lindsay was quite late into the game again. So it's, I think I think if we stick to tactics that have been working so far, changing it up when it's not working, he should outclass them. You know, position doesn't really come into it in the league. If you can tactically outmaster your opposition, normally you can win the game. But if coming back on Craig's point, kind of around the fitness, I don't necessarily think he's on about them being genuinely fit. I think he's on about them getting fitter, which is something. I mean, me and Rich do it at Bassett. They have what we call mass training. They do it every session. They, to increase, to just get that little bit better each week. And it's not exactly the same as what Holloway's doing, but I think Holloway's more thinking about the fitness of having the mentality to last that 90 minutes at that full rate and not give up, because it's really easy. As we saw with players under Kennedy, look how many injuries we had under Kennedy. Injuries suddenly appear when you're not doing very well, don't they? And I think that's what he's on about, is more the mentality. I hope that's what he's on about. But I think because they've got evidently apparently a really good S&C team, still, as Holloway said a couple of times now, they'll constantly be looking at how do we get them to the next step. I mean, me and Rich do it on a very basic level. We know how far the players can run a kilometre, and then we get them to go 120% faster and then 140% faster. And that's the risk, that's the really basic way of doing it. So I imagine he's got tactics like that hopefully, I hope that's what he's doing.
Gary, Woody mentioned just before the fitness bit there about Holloway's adaptability if things aren't going to plan. And I received a message before the show went on from a Swindon fan saying that I'm back in Swindon tomorrow. Even if we're 1 down at half time, I still think we're going to win the game. And it's that newfound confidence when you have a manager with a track record of being able to do that, isn't it? Well, would you say you're in a similar boat? Even if we go 1-0 down tomorrow, you're not automatically thinking the game's done?
No, not unless it's late on, of course. But if we go 1 down, and we've seen it in the other games, we've gone 1 down in the 3 games he's been involved with now. We've come back. We found a way to get back into the game and change things. And again, this is going back to the tactics and going back to Holloway's knowledge of football and finding a way to win. If he can install us a way to try and keep fighting it. If we lose tomorrow and we lose 2-1 and we've had a good go, I don't think anyone will be that bothered. But if we get a point or we can scrape a draw or a win, I mean, it'll be massive. I'm going into this game for the first time in a long time. I generally, if it was Kennedy in charge, I'm going there thinking we get hammered 3-4-0. Generally. But with Holloway there, I'm thinking anything's up for grabs. We could get a 2-2 draw. We could walk out of the point. Happy days. We could nick it 2-1 quite happily. I won't go into my prediction quite yet, but yeah, I'm very optimistic about our chances for certainly better than we've been for a long time.
Rich, let me bring you in on something Ned was talking about, and it was in terms of attempts on goal and the vast difference in percentages between MK Dons and ourselves. Again, since day one, Holloway said that the way he plays is to attack. He doesn't know anything different. So do you see that statistic changing starting from tomorrow? Do you think that the blueprint will be for us to attack, for us to create chances, and then it's just down to those in position to take them?
I think it all depends on the opposition that we play against. I mean, each team at this stage, they're all going to be better than us, because look at our position compared to them. Also, you look at all the games that we've played under Holloway have all been at home as well. We're playing away for the first time under Holloway as well, and sometimes we might not travel as well. So we've also got to look at the pitch too. The pitch at MK is bigger than ours. The stadium's bigger than ours as well. It's soulless, so it's the way that you're going to get the best out of your players as well, especially when you go away. So can you get that same sort of out of your players when you go away? So it all depends, but I have full faith in Holloway that he can do that, but we'll have to wait and see. So it's not going to be easy tomorrow. We know it's not going to be easy. MK are obviously very strong. They've got a good manager who's obviously got promoted out of this league very recently too, so he'll know what he needs to bring to the table. But also you've got to look at where MK Dons have come from as well, because everyone's going off screen at the moment. Yeah, you've got to look at
You're turning your own off while you're talking.
Yeah. No, you've got to look at MK Dons' recent results. Don't do that to me. You got to look at MK Dons' recent results as well. They obviously lost to their near rivals last week as well. So is that going to come into effect too? So we'll wait and see. But we've got to come into this game with positivity, because we've won our last two games, whether or not that was through extra time or whether or not that was in a what we call Tin Pot Trophy game. Doesn't matter. We've got to take the same principles and the same ethic into what we would do at home, into what we do away. And it's not an easy thing to do, but Holloway has the experience previously to be able to try and do that, and I have no doubt that he will be able to do that, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Arch, the only other thing we haven't really spoke about going into this is, again, the backing, and something we spoke about over the 4 years is Swindon do travel well. I've seen numbers quoting in the region of 12 to 1,400 expected there tomorrow. Again, it's a good backing from Swindon fans, considering what has happened this season, and maybe another sign that the fans are trying to get behind the players and Holloway.
Oh, I think it is about that. So I'm expecting it'll probably. Can you get tickets on the day?
You can.
So yeah, I would expect it to be around 1,500 maybe. But yeah, I don't know. We've always travelled well away, to be honest, haven't we? And it's not.
We do travel well.
It's
on that, I just sorry to cut across you, Arch. I just one thinking that a lot of those stairway fans maybe are now started going, okay, there's still things wrong behind the club, not right in the boardroom level, and I'm not going to go back to the club.
Away games only.
But we're going to go away to the games and support the club in Holloway.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. In fairness, there was one thing on Tuesday. Top work, 5, thanks.
That's not me, that one.
Oh, isn't it? Who's that?
That'll be my my assistant in button pushing.
Who's that? Who did that? Ned?
Woody.
Woody. Cheers, Woody. Fair enough. Yeah. I should have known that, really, shouldn't I? So on Tuesday night, there's a guy we know took his lad, and he met Holloway after the game, and he said, "Oh, hang on there, lad, I'll sign you a program," and they had no programs. So I said, "All right, mate, wait there a second, I'll be back." Went and got a shirt, got the whole team to sign it, and gave it to his lad.
Oh wow!
Now I did say he'll probably get charged for that if he carries on. But but I did think it was class, and I think I don't think it takes much for people to sort of change their mind and want to watch the team if they think things are going to change.
Well, football fans are fickle. It's well known, Arch.
Well,
Arch,
exactly.
all that's coming out of the sponsorship money into the club, mate.
I'll tell you what, Arch, that free shirt, Anthony Hall wouldn't have been happy with that. He doesn't like freebies, does he?
Listen, if he does that too many times, they'll get him to pay for them.
Yeah.
Get fined, won't he? Full price as well, won't be unit cost.
Clem will be even more debt.
But I did think
Clem's in the country as well, isn't he?
To be fair, so but yeah, no, I don't know. I think I think if we win tomorrow, as I said, I'm not stupid enough to think that's it. You know, everything's okay. We're going to have a playoff run or anything like that. But I do think if we win tomorrow, it will probably be the turn for the season that we need. And I think there will be more people coming back if that is the case.
Ned, you wanted to jump in and say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I'm next home game. I'm taking my kids and hanging around by the players' exit. Without a program.
To be fair, Ned, you wouldn't be the first parent to be hanging around the players' entrance trying to get things signed for their kids.
So, change the subject.
We should say, of course, if you are going to the game tomorrow, as I said before, that there'll be quite a few Fools and friends and family of Fools in attendance. So we look forward to joining you there and continuing our 4-year celebrations. But do travel safe. And let's all get behind the team and try and bring home 3 valuable points. Let's see how confident they've spoken so well for the last hour. Let's see how confident the panel really is, though, as I ask them for their predictions. And Rich, I'm going to start with you, please.
Damn it, I sort of knew that was going to happen. I'm going to say, because I don't know how well we're going to travel, don't know, we haven't played an away game yet, so it's very, very hard to say. But I'm gonna go 2-2.
2-2. Gary, let's go to you next.
Oh, I think I'm gonna go 1-up on Rich. I'm gonna go 3-2. Late winner for Swindon.
Nice. That'll be a party for everyone in attendance then. Let's go Craig next, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1 each.
1 each. Woody.
Despite me saying he won't settle for it, I think we might pinch a 1-0.
Okay. We've got a 1-1 prediction in the chat. Arch?
3-1 Town.
3-1 Town, lovely. And Ned?
Well, my prediction's 2-2. I think we'll come from behind twice. Just a quick question. Sorry, whilst we're doing this on the predictions, but does anyone know where Alex Gilby's playing at the moment for MK?
I think he's behind the front too.
Oh, right, okay. Because I was going to say that this year and last year, purple patch, and he's been around for donkey's years, isn't he? Around League One, League Two, touched the Championship once, but he's never been scoring more than 3 goals, and all of a sudden, like these last 2 years, he's been doing really well goals wise, but. Okay, if he's playing behind the front two, that makes pure sense.
Okay.
Thank you, Greg.
Let's throw out another random question before we start talking other topics.
What's your prediction, Fifey?
Yeah, Fifey, what's your prediction?
Yeah,
I'm going to go for a...
Yeah, Fifey.
I'm going to go for a 4-1 Swindon win.
Oh, we shouldn't have bothered fucking asking now.
Yeah, I know. We're for
what an absolute wanker.
Oh, fuck it. Don't ask for predictions in the future.
Make up for Harrogate, you better wear your fucking cape this time.
Right, let's move on. And the next question I'm going to ask you all is, if you followed your childhood dream, what job would you be doing right now? Craig, was it always your dream to be a train driver?
No.
No.
It was professional footballer, but I think that's everyone's dream, isn't it? You know,
No. What can't speak, can't lie. That doesn't say professional footballer.
Yeah, but my more realistic one was to be a policeman.
Sorry, mate, I shouldn't laugh. But I can't picture you as a policeman.
No.
Maybe as a stripper wearing a policeman's outfit. Ned.
Well, I wanted to until I flunked my GCSEs. I wanted to become a physio. That's what I really wanted to do in life. But I screwed that up completely. So here I am as a carer.
Arch.
In fairness, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, mate. But, yeah,
That's why you work in recruitment, so you can try all the different things out.
Wow, just wing it, didn't you? But no, I did have an apprenticeship lined up as a tree surgeon, which fell through. So I then went and did my A levels and walked out of them. Then did various jobs and end up as warehouse manager at 2021. But yeah, no, I never really knew what I wanted to do. The last thing I saw myself was running a recruitment agency. But there we go.
Gary, if you can find the unmute button.
Sorry. Well, ever since my early paper round days, I was very much like you, Fifey. I wanted to be a journalist, a sports journalist, ideally, and I also fancy being a bit of an author. I used to love writing books, stories.
Oh,
Gary,
Wow.
oh, Gary, I literally thought you were going to say a postman there.
For God's sake, Rick, we're all impressed with what Gary's doing, and then you just go and piss on his fireworks, don't you?
He said
Thanks,
a paper round. I thought, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I want to be postman Pat.
I'd be very interested in reading a one-show novel, if ever it was to materialise.
It's been a long time since I've written one, but yeah.
What do you do now, Gary?
Hey,
What do you do now, Gary?
Drink.
I'm a professional beer drinker.
He's a grass.
Professional alcohol sponge.
No, go on, Gary. Answer the question. What do you do now?
Let's
He's a
just
grass.
say that. Well, I won't spend too much. I work for a local government for business firm place.
Okay. Very nice. Rich.
I wanted to be an actor.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thespian of the group.
Drama queen, aren't you?
Or just a queen.
Woody, I presume the dream was always HR?
I wanted to be a Jedi. You boring fucks. And if I wasn't going to make it,
aspirations.
yeah. If I wasn't going to make it as a Jedi, I was going to go for the next best thing, which was HR consultant.
I think you say a Sith Lord.
These aren't the laws you're looking for.
Let's just say
I'm pretty sure until I was about 29, I wanted to be a Jedi.
Let's just say if Ange Postecoglou was around 20 years ago, Adam wanted to be him.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'd actually, to be fair, Football Manager would have been up there because I definitely got interested in coaching at a very. I started coaching at a young age, as you all know. So
you did.
It would have been up there. But in all seriousness, I think I was one of the professional football gang that never made it. So yeah, that was probably realistically where I was.
Do you know what? Quick fire follow-up question. Now that we know what the dream was, what was everyone's first job, Woody?
I take it we're excluding paper rounds.
Yeah. No, paper rounds don't count.
Another wrong paper rounds.
I was.
What was your first proper job?
I was an Asda shop assistant.
Nice. Gary?
As a lifeguard.
Ooh. Ned?
I worked in a nightclub, followed by a bar manager.
Nice. Rich?
I was a football
He's
coach.
still in it.
Yeah. I was a football coach for Swindon Town Football in the Community at 16.
Okay. Did you say what yours was during your first one, Arch?
I don't. What first full time job? Or
Your
first
first proper job, yeah.
I don't know where I've been.
Still ain't got one.
When I had a
Surely working in the warehouse.
No, before that, when I left school, I already had a Saturday job, and when I walked out my A levels, I just worked there full time at Specsavers.
Okay, nice. Craig?
Oh,
Yeah,
shit, that as well.
The key word there was O levels. That's all I heard.
O levels, fucking cheeky bastard.
Craig?
Yeah, my first job, part-time job was working in a bike shop, and I didn't know anything about bikes, so that was good. But full-time, just similar
There's
to
a joke
Arch
there
work.
as well, Craig.
Sorry, mate.
There's a joke there as well.
They didn't have a union, so Craig walked out of that job.
Yeah, that's it. £2 an hour as well, Woody. £2 an hour. Fucking hell. Yeah. I would have done.
That was a lot of money back in those days, Craig.
It was, mate. In the old days, Ned, wasn't it? Yeah. Nothing exciting for my first proper job. Similar to Arch, warehouse worker.
Okay, cool. My first proper job was working as a telephonist at V-Cars, taking all the bookings and sending taxis to the wrong place. But I soon learned what I was doing and raised up through the ranks before I ended up exiling myself to the East Midlands. Woody, let's take a detour now and talk what's happening in women's football this weekend.
For Swindon, top of the table clash down in
at Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
At the Vitality.
At Vitality, yeah.
Yeah. That kind of almost gutted. We've got a game, to be fair, because that would have been definitely a good one to go to.
Yeah, we would have gone to that one. Yeah.
I think it's definitely a good. I mean, I've said for a couple of weeks now, did Swindon have a favourable start? Possibly, yeah. They played, but you can only play what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think this will be the first test for them in terms of, a team that will also be hunting that top position. I don't know whether that was always Rich Wood's ambition was to chase top. Maybe that's changed as he got, but they've obviously still making sign-ins as well. So it's it will definitely be a good game, I think. Hopefully there'll be a few people going down as well. But Swindon doing the normal Swindon thing and not advertising stuff. For example, the FA Cup last weekend, £12 a game, and we get less than 5,000 for £12 a ticket. So I think if they could do with publishing this game a bit more to try and get a few people, maybe see if there's a coach that can go on or something down there. I'm quite surprised. This is no dig at those people that organise, because the people that organise all the coaches and stuff, they work tirelessly. But I would have thought that maybe somebody within the club might have gone, SAS, do you fancy maybe putting a coach on? Because I reckon those coaches only fit 50 odd people. So I reckon they would probably fill one up to go down there if the option was there. So, but no, hopefully, Bournemouth are one of the big players in that league. They're one of the big payers as well, not just big players. But so it'd be quite interesting. But Bournemouth's rise has been quite phenomenal, really. They still got the same coach they had when they were playing kind of down with me in the Abingdon, down in the lower leagues as well. So, it'd be quite interesting to see how they come along, and hopefully Swindon come back here with the 3 points, because that would be huge. To win at a place like that would be massive for the women's team.
Absolutely.
Big game.
And Bassett?
We are away to St. Vallier. who play at Lockleys. We're on a 3G pitch this weekend.
Bristol Rovers is old
Yeah, where Bristol Rovers played temporarily
before they went to Memorial.
before they were calling games, not allowing fans in to see big games. But the so I mean, Valley are above us.
Technically,
They've, technically, well, they are.
Technically, they're above us because they're above us.
They're above us, yeah.
they've played more games than us.
They've had some torrid results of late as well. So they are on the back of a win last week, but from the news coming out of Corsham that they beat last week, Corsham have now lost their manager. So it makes me think that Corsham are going a bit down the drain, or they're really struggling at the moment. So maybe beating Corsham isn't such a big result. So yeah, we're going. We've got a few players missing this weekend, but I'm still quite confident in the side we're taking. So
excellent. Well, obviously, we wish both Bassett and Swindon women the very best of luck this weekend. We should also touch momentarily on the youth team because they played today, but also that there was a few of the younger players feature in the squad on Tuesday, which I know Botan and Mean started. There was, I'm just bringing it up on the screen here. Actually, we should comment while I remember as well. Yeah, McCormick as well. Redmond Evans has gone out on loan today. Just while
Westbury.
I remember, it's gone out to Westbury. So just on an initial month's loan. I did see a stat, and I've just brought it back up here to make sure I got it right, that Anthony McCormick became the 1,436th player to represent the club in all competitions after his debut at just 17 years, 6 months and 5 days old. So congratulations to him. But yes, they also won today. I want to say it was 5-2. Let me just double check that.
5-1.
I did 5-1
against Exeter.
That's correct. With Carnus on the score sheet again. Really pleased to see him back in the goals and well on the road to recovery. And I really do hope for obviously we hope for everyone, but for him especially, for what it looked like his career could do, I really hope it fully turns around for him at this point. So congratulations to the Academy for the result today. Gents, one last question before we wrap up for the night, I think. Oh, go on, Woody.
I have a question. Has Arch suddenly grown in size, or has the Rolex clock been in the washing machine? Because that is, quite frankly, the cleanest I've ever seen it, to start with. And he's looking rather suspiciously like, you're never going to catch me, when we realise when we go to Morecambe next week and the famous Rolex clock has gone because it's in Archer Towers. By the way, for those on audio, he's on mute, and that was fucking Archer Towers.
And he's still on mute, still talking.
Yeah. No, I've just realised that I hadn't changed my clock. So I was just changing it, and now the mechanism doesn't appear to be working. So.
Oh, so it's like an exact replica.
It is. Oh, that is so realistic.
There you go. Wife made me.
One final question then to see us out, and it's a really simple one. It's a choice of left or right, A or B, and it's simply this: if giraffe centaurs existed, would they look like A or B? Arch, I'm going to start with you.
Gary Barlow's son.
What the fuck sort of question is that?
It's a this or this question.
Well,
The answer is Gary Barlow's son.
in all honesty, assuming that it has arms, so there it would feed itself with said hands, it would have to be the one on the right.
Okay. Let's ask Gary
I don't know,
next.
'cause it could move its fucking huge neck down, couldn't it?
Gary?
Yeah, probably the
Can't go
first
the
one.
picture. I'm going all this.
Okay. Rich?
I'd go all this.
Okay. Craig?
Jesus Christ! I don't. I'll go just to go against the grain. I'll say this.
Okay, no. To be fair, when I was asked this at 6:30 this morning, I went with this and not all this. Ned?
Well, the second one is just a giraffe who's eating a human. Yeah, and he's stuck poking out of the. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, it wouldn't be all this, the B one. And it wouldn't even be the one on the left, because why has it got 6 limbs? But anyway, out of the two, it's got to be the first one.
Okay. And finally, Woody.
Well, it's either Pete Crouch or Carlos Tevez, isn't it? So, given, I think it would be the first one. I think.
Thinking about it's got to be the first one. It's going to wipe its ass.
I'm more confused at why everybody's trying to find a logical answer to this question.
And if you're listening back on Spotify, sorry.
And that perfectly, that question and that sequence of answers perfectly sums up 4 years of Fools Rush In. Thank you again to everyone who's joined us tonight and throughout the last 4 years. We look forward to, hopefully, if we don't get cancelled, doing it for 4 more and then even more after that. No, we're not starting 4 more year chance, Woody.
And Oxford lost tonight as well on our birthday.
Hey!
Hey! They can go suck our balls.
We look forward.
They're playing Watford, though. Imagine playing Watford.
And losing.
We look forward to hopefully seeing many of you tomorrow at Milton Keynes. But until then, from me, from all the guys that have made it on screen tonight and those who didn't, thank you very much. And you know what? Let's play out the way we played in. One more time. Let's go for it.
Some say that only fools rush in, but that's not the case with the mighty twin. Our podcast is a platform with differing views. We're mostly overweight, have beards and problems with booze. When in town are currently playing shit, but we will still be here talking about it. Middle-aged men making random calls. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on our balls. We don't like to chat shit on Fools Rush In. We don't like to chat shit on Fools Rush In. We don't like to chat shit on Fools Rush In. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on our balls. There's Fifey, who's a legend, and Diz our leader. Woody, the coach, is legit, and Joe is slick like a cheetah. And there's a positive son of a gun who's also media mad. Craig and Mark, and one show will think Clem is just a fad. Which got his light on, Arch has a heart on. Ladies love Nick cause he got a big age. Colin's a boxer, Kieran's a lobster. Ned is just Ned, and Warren is massive. And here's a random plot for Save on Tires. Save on Tires! We don't like to chat shit on Fools Rush In. We don't like to chat shit on Fools Rush In. We don't like to chat shit on Fools Rush In. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on our balls.
I mean, that's so fucking good, man. That's
Good night,
so-
everyone. Thanks
so
for
good.
watching. And just as one last treat, Ben did make it for the end credits.
Hey!
Bye, everyone.
No.
How are you? Bye.